Good morning, everybody. How are you today? It's me, Mitch, with a little happy music in the background, waiting for some indication that I am actually live. And I am. I can see it there. Welcome. Welcome, everybody, to Morning Coffee with Mitch. A little late this morning. We'll talk about why. But I think every Wednesday I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it about 10 o'clock. I have had a busy morning so far. But it's been a great morning. It's been a great morning. So, more important than anything else, something I've been looking forward to. Drink it if you got it. As we wait for some more people to pile in. Okay. And we'll get rid of the music. How's everybody doing this morning? The pre-chat has been busy. As you can see by the sunlight on my face, even with the fill lights that I have here, I still am strongly lit from this side. Some would say that's cinematic. There's nothing I can do about it. It is later in the morning, so there's a lot more activity in the neighborhood. And the good news is just about 2 minutes ago, the gardeners working on the street right across the canal from me stopped, finally got finished, making all kinds of racket with lawnmowers and edgers and trimmers and blowers. Perfect timing. The dog that they put out on the front patio across the street from me has stopped barking as well. But I'll have to ask your indulgence. If it does get noisy, I've got this microphone here. That's what I'm talking into, and it shouldn't pick up too much ambient noise, and I'm talking fairly close to it, which means my voice should be relatively clear. Hopefully shooting for broadcast. Well, maybe not perfection, but as good as I can do out here sitting on my back porch. And I've got Ellen in the green room, so she has been a busy girl this morning. Holy cow, the amount of chatting going back and forth is something. So let me bring Ellen in and say good morning to her. And I'll give her a second to unmute her mic, and then I will bring her in. There we go. Good morning.
Mitch.
How are you?
Good morning, everyone in chat. Yes, we have been busy chatting already. Chatting up a storm. It's almost like there's a show before the show, or I should say the show just starts. I don't know. Hours.
Yeah, it's at least, an hour and a half before we start. There are I call them the usual suspects, 10 or 15 people that just can't wait to get in there into the chat and start talking to each other. It's incredible.
Yeah.
It's incredible, and
it is. It's fun.
I'm very gratified by that sense of community, that we have. It's going to be interesting to see whether this live stream is as well attended as the earlier ones. Each one of these things I do teaches me a little something. But I'm going to put Ellen up in her perch. She's going to keep an eye on things, keep an eye on the chat. Mainly, not just to entertain you guys, although she really does a hell of a job. A better job than I would do. Mainly look out for things that she thinks warrant my attention, that you've asked me. And if you have a question, as usual, put QQQ, three capital Q's in front of the question. And just like I see that at
They're already
10:04, Lori already put a question in here, and I'll answer that while she's here. And she said, Ellen, how do you get your skin so glowing?
So glowing.
Well, I can give you the answer to that. Ellen wants us to think that she's not a spring chicken, but I happen to know for a fact that she is really, in reality, only 31 years old. And when you're 31 years old, You you don't need to do a lot of work on your face. So your secret is out, Ellen.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody ever asks me that. Hey,
You
Mitch,
do show
how
up
can
there.
you look how can you look so good, Mitch? I don't ever get that question. Come on, guys. All right. I'm going to put you upstairs there, Ellen, and good to see you. And I had a funny comment I have to tell you about. I had a funny comment. I put out a video yesterday afternoon. It wasn't real popular. It was the one about how do I handle a new doctor. And it was a clip from a morning live stream. So, of course, you were up there sitting in your perch. And somebody actually commented, and this was
Oh,
the
no.
comment, and said, "Oh, I absolutely agree with everything you said, but I'm puzzled. What was the relevance of having Ellen up in the corner doing nothing?"
Oh, dear.
And I mean, obviously, they've never seen one of my live streams because
Oh,
anybody that's seen a live stream here, one of these morning live streams, would immediately recognize me sitting on the porch with the bird
right.
of paradise plant behind me and Ellen up there looking over the whole mess. So, and I didn't want to crop it out. I
Oh,
didn't want to try
right.
to hide the fact. I
Mm,
could have zoomed in on myself and cropped it out a little bit and covered up the Mitch and Old Guy Carnivore thing down at the
right.
bottom. I could have covered that up with a red box that said something else. But no, I'm not ashamed of the fact that I take clips. Everybody does it. Ken Berry does it.
Oh,
Anthony Chafee does it almost all the time. In fact, most of his long form standalone videos that he makes are repurposed answers from one of his 3 hour long live streams because we get into subjects, we talk about things on these live streams. It's completely and utterly off the top and spontaneous, which most of the time are better than anything, more clear, more to the point, better than anything that we might try to script. I've done it a few times, um, but the live stream disappears the day after. It's never watched again. These long form videos appear in searches.
hmm.
They become more legacy. Uh-oh, I just got a signal
Yes. You're cutting out
that
a bit.
something, yeah, I got a signal, and it appears that it's not, I don't think it's me because I have a network monitor and I'm
Hmm.
looking at it, and something has just cut my bandwidth down, and it's not coming now it's coming back. It's not coming from my computer. It's on Spectrum's network because I've been plagued with these problems. I had it just once earlier, and I set up a network monitor where I got a graph of my upload speed, and it just got cut way down, and that was outside of my house. If it had been one of my computers hogging the network, I would have seen it. So that was just another way that I can diagnose a problem. That's not anything I can do about. That happens to all of us when we're using cable modems, maybe Spectrum or one of these other services, because occasionally when you watch something on Netflix, all of a sudden you get the please wait circle. And it usually doesn't last very long. But these networks occasionally, they have to switch something over. They may have a little overload somewhere along the line. It's incredibly complex stuff. So that was good. I wasn't hoping that would happen, but I was ready for it so I could see whether it was me or them. Good news. Good news. Good news. Um, but if it happens again and I go blurry and crazy and my lips stop syncing with the audio for a second, just hopefully it won't last more than a couple seconds. I have some notes about stuff I wanted to talk about, just a few things here. So let me bring them up. My notes. And I just got a Gmail from somebody else that wants to become one of my sponsors. I have hundreds of those. This one is from somebody called. Let me. Oh, I already lost it. Never mind. We'll see. It's probably something that doesn't even relate to carnivore, but they're gonna fawn all over me, tell me how they love my videos. They've watched them. They're incredibly impressed with what I do, and they have a line of outdoor furniture they would like me to sell. Or something like that. I'm just making that up, but you wouldn't believe some of the wild women's cosmetics. I get them all the time. Yeah, we think that this would be a great fit with your channel. Uh, it's spam. It's robo mailing. It's crazy. It's crazy. I want to just, and this all weaves in with the second thing I wanted to talk about, which was how busy my morning was and what I managed to get accomplished in 2.5 hours from 7:30 until 10 when I started this thing. The reason this is late, and it's going to be every Wednesday at 10, that'll give me one morning a week to run to Sam's Club and get there when they open. Unfortunately, today I was disappointed. There wasn't any markdown meat. But I did have a foot race with one little elderly lady who probably was still younger than me, but we were both standing at the door there together along with one other guy, and he was there to get tires on his car, so he wasn't a threat, but she was determined, and we didn't talk about it, but when the guy came and opened the door, she ran. She ran in, got a shopping cart, and took off. So I said, aha, I've been here before. Nobody beats Mitch to the markdown meat. I may be old, but I'm fast. You put a shopping cart in my hand, you better get out of the way. Could be dangerous. So she went in and she turned left. I went straight because I've got the shortest route through the aisles picked out to the markdown meat. I know the most efficient route. And I took off, and before she made her turn, I was actually gaining on her, and I passed her. So I knew that there was no way she was going to get there before me. And we were talking for a couple of minutes outside. She was a very sweet little old lady. And I said to myself, well, Mitch, it wouldn't be very gentlemanly of you if you got there before she did and just hogged up all the stuff she was looking to buy. And I said, well, let's just see what happens. So I got to the markdown meat first, and I looked, and there was nothing. There were some New York strips. I don't want to buy. I have some New York strips frozen. I hardly ever eat. I want ribeyes. I want ribeyes. And she come running up, and she's looking. And I said, well, I see we had the same idea. I said, just so you know, if there was something here to buy, and I saw you coming up, I would give you first shot at it. And I would have. Because I'm still old school in that way. I'm not going to beat up old ladies, so she smiled and thanked me profusely. And I think the reason she moved as fast as she did was she ate meat. I mean, that's the logical conclusion. But there was nothing there. I bought some smoked salmon. Needed eggs. Eggs were the only, and San Pellegrino. Those were the only two things I really needed. So, but I stocked up on a little smoked salmon. I bought another 4 pounds of bacon, which, you can't have too much bacon. I bought a jug of pork rinds and 3 packages of the pasture-raised eggs, which each have 1.5 dozen in it. So I bought 4.5 dozen eggs, and that was the extent of it. And I got home about 8:45, so I still had plenty of time to set up. And if we have some time, I did take a picture of this setup for those of you that are interested in the technology behind what it takes for me to do this out here in the morning and what I have to go through to set it up every morning. And I'll go over that, but I don't think now's the time. I think we're already 1/4 after. I did want to thank 3 people who bought me a coffee during our live stream last night. For some reason, that Buy Me a Coffee app on my cell phone stops going ka-ching sometimes. It stops sending the notification, and I had it turned on because during the live stream, people that give me a super chat, I can acknowledge. And I always like to thank and acknowledge anybody that helps out this channel. And it never happened last night. Never happened. And when the stream was over, I went and looked in my phone, and I saw that 3 people had bought me a coffee during the stream, and I wanted to go over this just real quick. Jerry Voitush, thank you so much. Bought me a coffee during last night's live stream. Now, when the person doesn't put their name in, it just says someone bought you a coffee. But there was a message. And the message said, enjoy, Mitch. Nobody can doubt you have stones. Which I thought was cool. And that's not the kind of stones they were referring to. Not kidney stones. Glad you are better, my friend. They bought me coffee. And then Martin Nierwinski. He was the first one to buy me coffee, I think. Or maybe not, but thank you, Martin. Martin's been a follower of mine for a long time, and I do appreciate that. I did want to acknowledge them. And then this morning when I woke up, I had seen Robert Cartino had bought me 3 coffees, and that was a very nice surprise to wake up to. And his message just said in capital letters, cigar carnivore. You know I'm thrilled about that. My answer to him, my reply to Robert was, a very exclusive club indeed. You could probably count the cigar smoking carnivores on 10 fingers in this world, but I thanked him for that. So that was something I just publicly wanted to acknowledge, and thank you again. Thank you again. Another just quick note, in case you don't know it, I'm sure if you didn't know it, you're going to find out pretty soon, that this week we set the clocks. We set the clocks. We turn them back an hour. We get an extra hour of sleep. But the most important thing for me, and just can't wait for this day, is that it gets light an hour earlier. I know most people like the extra hour of sunlight in the afternoon, but by the time the afternoon comes, I'm not leaving the house anyway. It doesn't matter to me whether it gets dark at 6:30 or 5:30, doesn't matter. But when I get up at 4:30, 5 o'clock every morning, I really do enjoy seeing the sun come up. That to me is what morning's all about. That's what morning's supposed to be all about. If you think we run by circadian rhythms, we can't as human beings. Animals don't know what time it is. They know it's daylight or it's dark. That's all they know. But we invented clocks and schedules. We invented television and radio, whose shows start at a particular hour on that clock, regardless of the position of the sun. We are constantly resetting our internal clocks every day as the seasons change to adapt to the 2 or 3 minute difference in daylight every day, when it starts and when it stops. So we really never settle in to a circadian rhythm that really only looks at one input, and that is light or dark. I think we'd actually be healthier if we could forget the clocks and forget the schedules and live our lives just by the sun's up, the sun went down. But we can't do that, not in our society. It's crazy. But that's just my opinion. So those are the things that I really wanted to just talk about today. So put your questions in the chat, and I'm going to scroll back to the beginning here and start acknowledging some people's presence, and we'll do that for a few minutes. That's just kind of what we do. We have 108 people this morning. Not bad. Not bad. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. And before I start doing that, there is one thing that I look forward to in the morning. And let's just get that out of the way. So, you know what that means. Ellen dances, I dance. And the rest of you, just excuse me while I light up my cigar. Perfect. Perfect timing. Perfect timing. And that's good. So now I have everything I need to be happy in the morning. I have coffee. I have my cigar. I have Ellen watching out for me. And I have all of you guys, all my friends, who've joined me for coffee. And these are the times, honest to God, the times we all quest for in life. Those brief periods of being able to sit back, and I've talked about this, and just say, and feel content. Just feel content and be able to say to ourselves, life is good. We don't get enough of those moments, most of us. Some of us never get any of those moments. So being able to have structured my life around the things now at this age that bring me the most pleasure, when it used to be expensive cars, big boats, flying, airplanes, all that stuff, I get the most pleasure in life right now. Out of this lifestyle, I think it's a function of my age. I don't think I could ask a 25-year-old to live like I do, but most of us are older, and I keep saying to myself, God, I wish I had discovered this so much sooner. I would have had a much more relaxing, less stressful life. Life is good. Let me see who was here. Papa Carnivore was here first. Good morning, everyone. And that was at 6:32 a.m. He was really early, followed by the Feral Grandma. How you doing? Mark Booze is here. Again, these are all the usual suspects. Mike Seeley from Tampa Bay. United Carnivore. Wanda Gerling was here. Good morning. Mitch and Ellen. And everybody else. How's everybody doing this fine morning? Just told you. If I was any better, I tell people this and it makes them smile. They say, how you doing, Mitch? When somebody says to you, how you doing? They don't really care. You know, they're not really deeply concerned. Because if you say to them, oh man, I'm not doing so good today and let me tell you why, they'll run like hell. It's just a nicety. It's a greeting. How you doing? The answer to that is, I'm doing great. How about you? And then everybody, just to escape that little interaction, feeling somewhat better than if you had to stand there for half an hour and listen to this guy talk about all of his medical problems. I've been in that case. I've gotten sucked in. My typical answer to that is I smile and I say, I'm doing just great. As a matter of fact, if I was doing any better, it'd be illegal. And I always get a smile. There's two lines I have that I just always throw out there. That's one of them. The other one is, take the rest of the day off. Honest to God, I give everybody the day off in the course of it. I gave the Sam's cashier this morning the rest of the day off. And everybody always smiles. And when they say, oh, I wish I could, I look at them seriously and I say, no, I'm serious. You go tell your boss that I said it was okay. And that's how I leave it. And it just brightens. People get a smile on their face. They're not used to being treated like that. They're not used to being treated informally. Ellen is here. Ellen was right in there already, and that was it. Was that 6:30? Holy cow. Another one of us, insomnia. It seems like we're insomniacs, but I got plenty of sleep last night. Terry was here. Hiya, Terry. How you doing? Good morning, Mitch, and all you. What did she call us today? Meat wrappers. Today we're meat wrappers. I look forward to see what Terry calls us every morning. Bob M is here. Bob M, how you doing, Bob? All the stream is on a new time today. Good morning to all. Oh, he said, the stream is, it's just Wednesdays, Bob. And I'm hoping that some people on the West Coast will be able to see it. I'm doing it so that I can have one morning to shop because I shop early at 8 o'clock and I can't do it when I'm doing these live streams. And I hadn't been, believe it or not, to Sam's Club for 2 or 3 weeks since the first time I did one of these morning live streams. So it's been quite a while. But that's why I'm going to do a Wednesday morning. And if I have to change it, I will. But I think the more you adhere to a set schedule that people can expect, not that this is such a main event, but I try to do the best I can in that respect. Richard Williams, how you doing? Good morning from Copper Hill, Tennessee, and Texas not to be outdone. Free Texanet comes in. Good morning, Mitch. It's difficult for me to make the morning lives. If I had the time, I would be here. As Papa said, I look forward to hearing your words of wisdom. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And who haven't I said? Turamir is here. Hi, Turamir. Says hello, Mitch, and people on the road tomorrow. Well, wherever you're going, be safe. Have a good trip. Have a good trip. Jean Marlowe is here. Good morning to you. I just want to say good morning to everyone. Have a great day. And I'm sure everyone wishes it right back to you. William McCartney, how you doing, William? Good to see you this morning. And Satya is here. Hey, Satya, how you doing, sweetie? Good to see you. Always a pleasure. Lori's Carnivore Story is here. Good morning, Mitch and everyone. Warm spell here in Ontario, Canada. Ain't it great? Enjoy it while you got it. I think they're predicting an extra cold winter for the north and a mild winter for the south because of La Nina this year. Mark Booze, how you doing, Mark? I don't know if I said hi to you already, but let's say hi to you. 2 dozen eggs, limit per person at Aldi's. Really? They had plenty. I mean, I was surprised that they had plenty of eggs. Or at least they had a wide variety of eggs at Sam's this morning. And it wasn't stacked up to the ceiling like it usually is, but they had plenty of the pasture-raised brown eggs, which is what I used. And I haven't had any of them for months, ever since that egg shortage of a couple months ago. So finally today, I was able to buy 3 flats, 1.5 each, of the pasture-raised eggs, whether that's a fraud, a marketing labeling fraud, or anything else. I don't know. But all I can do is do the best that I can. Somebody else new. We're almost to the time. Ellen, I hope you're watching out for questions. In 5 minutes or so, I'm going to ask you where we stand with those. And I do have... Ellen, did I talk about the video that I'm releasing this afternoon yet? I don't think so.
No, you didn't, just with me. So you might want to share that.
I know I talked about it. Okay. That's the first thing I want to do after I stop saying hi to people. So, because it ties in with my shopping trip this morning. Remind me if you would. And you can leave your mic unmuted. You've been very quiet. I think it was only noisy when you were over there with the dogs. Babysitting the dogs.
Okay. The keyboard isn't distracting.
Well, I don't hear it. Maybe people.
Okay,
maybe you should mute your mic. I mean, just as a precaution.
Well, let me know. Okay.
Okay. And just because I don't hear it doesn't mean that other people aren't going to hear it either.
Right. Okay. Well, keep us posted, chat. If you are annoyed.
Okay. Again, and that's why I'm looking. When somebody buys me a coffee, I get a Gmail to my Old Guy Carnivore Gmail account, and I'm supposed to get a notification from the actual app on my phone that makes it go ka-ching, which is kind of cool. It's always a pleasant surprise. And I just got a notification of an email, and but no ka-ching. Randy Weichel bought me a coffee. Thank you, Randy. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. And his message was, "You make my morning." Thank you. And you guys make my morning too. So it's a win-win. Thank you so much. So that's about the best I can do right now. And if I miss any, believe me, it's very much appreciated. Very much appreciated. Where was I? I was down to Mark Booze and Grandma Prepper's here. Hiya, Grandma. How you doing? Talking to Ellen. Meatitudes. Good morning to you. Meatitudes, good morning, Mr. Mitch. And all of you meat eaters. We are that. We are definitely that. Meatitudes has a question. I found it myself, Ellen. Imagine that. What about chewing gum? Like Trident? Are there enough artificial ingredients to cause issues? Husband chews a lot now since carnivore instead of flossing. I never thought chewing gum did anywhere near the job that flossing, and I don't even floss. I get these plastic toothpick things that have a sharper end on one end and a little brush on the other end. And every time, right after I eat, I go through and get all that food out from between my teeth. Uh, the only downside I see to chewing gum is it makes you focus on having something sweet in your mouth. And, and chewing, which is like eating. And if you're an addict and you feel the need to always be putting food in your mouth, I don't think the chewing gum would help. Whether physiologically it hurts you, if it's artificially sweetened and doesn't have all kinds of poisonous ingredients in it, doesn't have sugars buried under names that aren't, readily recognized as sugars, I suppose it would be okay. The best tell, the best indication of whether it's hurting him is how long he can stick to it if he falls off the wagon and starts eating sweet crab again. But other than that, that's about the best answer I can give you. So I hope that my theory that anything sweet in your mouth that makes you think you're eating, chewing, and swallowing and it tastes sweet is feeding nothing more than your addiction. And keeping your teeth clean is a great excuse to eat something sweet and feed your addiction. And we never run out of rationalizations of why it's okay. I mean, our subconscious has got a library of those things to feed us anytime it wants something sweet. I mean, just this last time, I'll start again on Monday. That'll be my New Year's resolution. You know the excuses. We've all done it. Where do you think they come from? And they make sense to us at the time. Of course they make sense. We're not in charge. We think we are. Steve Rogers, Captain America's here from Kansas City, Missouri. I just finished my early shopping trip. Good for you. Good for you. Beef, butter, bacon, and eggs. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You and me both this morning. Who else I got? What time is? I'm up to 9:54. So this is still right before the stream started, and all these people had come in. Mike Seeley Sr.'s here. Tom from Tampa's here. Good morning to you. I'm going to start speeding up. Zeno is here. How you doing, my friend? B. Matt. Hey, Matt. How you doing, Matt? I wonder if Mitch will make it back from Sam's Club on time. I got back here right after 8:30. I mean, when I go into Sam's Club, I don't go shopping. I'm on a mission. I run here, run there, grab what I need, check out, and I'm out the door. One more minute of this, looking for anybody else that... Lisa's here. Wife of Mark. How you doing, Lisa? Good morning. Good to see you this morning. Cindy Braddock. How you doing? Cindy says good morning, everyone. Randy Weichel. Randy Weichel, good morning, Mitch and gang. Good morning to you, Randy. And I think I see Jesse Parker's here. How you doing, Jesse? Eddie Edwards is here. Real quick, let me look. Keep going down. Mama Bear, how you doing? How you doing? Lad is here this morning. We got a nice crowd, 124 people. So obviously, starting this thing at 10 o'clock after a half an hour, hasn't made much difference. So there's no reason not to do it. Navadia Van, how you doing? Good to see you. Booby Goats has chimed in, and these are people that were chiming in at the beginning of the stream, and I like to at least get that far. Were people who waited till it actually started. Jason H. I should just start saying hi to people at the time the stream started. In fact, Ellen, remind me. That's what I need to do because it takes so long to get through the early pre-chat that wastes a lot of time. Oaktown Girl, and I can get through and say hi to a lot more people if I start then.
Okay.
But I see just another thing for you to remember.
That's
because
okay.
I probably,
My
I
notebook.
don't. I've got so much on my mind.
Mhm.
Cecilia Heil, how you doing? Good to see you. Okay, I'm gonna stop that, and I did want to talk about my video this afternoon that I'm going to release. I'm shopping at Sam's this morning, and Ellen, before I start this, I see
Mhm.
Randy Weitzel has a question
Mhm.
about
Yeah.
salmon. What is the best smoked salmon at Sam's Club to buy? I buy, and it's still farm raised. You're not going to get the best of the best of the best, but the best smoked salmon would be to go to Seattle and get real smoked salmon from wild caught Pacific salmon. But short of that, they sell a pound of salmon in a big cardboard flat for 13, almost $14 a pound, and that's what I buy. That's what I buy. Uh, I'm not really up on what Costco has. Uh,
Costco
I,
does have some good wild caught salmon. I'll just
yeah, I
at mine. So
I'm gonna do a re-exploration of Costco, probably with a camera in my hand when I go to pick up my glasses, because I haven't actually perused their meat department for, well,
right.
I would say since February. It's been almost a year, and they have a much, much more extensive meat department, huge compared to what Sam's has. The drawbacks: no markdowns, no early shopping, just enormous crowds. So
Hmm.
that's three reasons why you won't find me. Well, you won't find me there. But I went
Okay.
in this morning and I went looking and I didn't find any markdown meat. I hardly found any ribeyes at all. Some of the meat cases hadn't been stocked yet. They had the normal hamburger and all that other stuff. Uh, but they're starting to stock more and more of these prepackaged, vacuum sealed individual portions of grass fed, grass finished beef, priced per pound almost the same as their regular beef. Their ribeye was priced at 13, I think it was 13.29 a pound, and I'd never tasted that stuff. And I asked the meat guy, who I know very well, and he knows me because I see him he's putting out meat every time I go in there. He knows I'm a carnivore. We've talked at length about this uh, because you let me corner you long enough, and it's inevitable that we're going to be talking about carnivore. So, especially in the meat department of Sam's. And he said, it's flying off the shelves. I was surprised. He says, we have to restock it 5 times a day. He says, especially they buy the filet mignon, the little fillets. And I looked at the ribeye, and they looked okay. They weren't really well marbled, but then again, grass finished beef is not going to be. The marbling comes from the cow eating grain and getting fat. That's why they grain feed animals, to fatten them up. Of course, they won't tell you that the grain does the same thing to humans. They'll never admit that. They'll tell you it's healthy and it's good for you. But the rest of the animal kingdom gets fed grains. Pigs get fed grains. Chickens, and especially cows and sheep, get fed grains to fatten them up because we like our USDA prime, highly marbled meat. The Japanese, with their Wagyu, certainly feed their cattle enormous amounts of grains. And that's akin to what they do to poor ducks when they want to fatten up their livers to make foie gras out of. It's terrible. It's terrible practice. But that's what they do because people, without actually wanting to admit it, at a biological and evolutionary level, are drawn to the taste of fat. That's why bacon is so good. That's why a good fatty cut of beef tastes so good. And a lean cut of beef, you got to add fat to it. That's why I don't ever buy filet mignon. I hardly ever buy New York strips. Give me the fat. I never buy 90-10 hamburger. I'm looking for the 70-30. The fat is what makes it good and satisfying and satisfies your appetite in a world where they're telling you that it's killing you when the opposite is true. So here I am, and I said, I've never tasted this stuff. In fact, I don't even know. I probably have in life, but never went out of my way to cook myself a piece of grass-finished beef. It's always been unavailable, wildly expensive in most cases. And if you buy it from any of these individual ranchers that ship it to you, it's really, really cost prohibitive for me. And I've been very happy with the stuff from Costco and Sam's. And I seem to be doing pretty good on it. Anthony Chafee's the same way. When somebody says, where do you get your beef? I get it at Costco. He's over there in Australia. You know, it's kind of a consensus among most of the carnivore doctor YouTubers that you may see a 5% nutritional difference between grain-fed and grass-fed. But let's face it, even hot dogs are better for you than the crap that people eat. So I bought a package, and they come two to a package, but the entire package weighed 1 pound and a quarter. That's one meal for me. And it cost $13. Well, no, it cost $16 because it was 1 pound and a quarter. And it was $13 a pound, roughly. And I brought it home, and I said, you know, I'm going to make a video about this. A little review this afternoon. I'm going to be able to do it in time to get it out. So with all the other things I had to do this morning, I got out my 360-degree camera, set it up in the kitchen, and I basically filmed myself. I didn't narrate it at the time, but I'll narrate it from the video editor. Do a voiceover, and I got the two steaks and got them into a silicone sous vide bag, fired up the sous vide machine, and got them in before, right around 9:30, about a half an hour before this stream is going to start. They'll be done by about 11:30, and for my first meal of the day today, I'm going to clip a mic on me, fire up the camera again, and I'm going to go through the process of removing that stuff from the sous vide, searing those two steaks in carbon steel, in butter, throwing them on my beautiful little wood plate with my big fancy Damascus knife, and I'm going to sit down and we're going to give it a taste test. And it's going to be a legitimate, real taste test where I try to see if I can find any difference in that grass-fed, grass-finished, so-called the best beef you can get kind of thing from Sam's, and whether I like it better or not than the normal stuff that I buy. Normally I get one steak that's 1 pound to 1 pound and a quarter. This is 2. I don't care. I'm not worried about it. It's a lot thinner cut steak, but when you sous vide it, I can't, you know, I would worry if I had to cook it on a grill or something that I'd overcook it. But sous videing it, it's going to come out perfect on the inside anyway, no matter what you do, and you throw a quick sear on it. So look out for that video. I should be able to get it done and edited and out before 3 o'clock this afternoon. For some reason it doesn't show up. Something came up.
That will be great.
So
and you have a super chat, Mitch, from BMAT.
Oh, cool. Who was it from?
BMAT.
BMAT, Matt.
BMAT.
Let me go over to. I don't know if I can get to it real quick, but let me go over to it in my other window where I can look at it. There it is, BMAT. I can't show it on the screen, but it's. Thank you so much for that. Maybe you only get the ka-ching when the Buy Me a Coffee link is used. I did it from my own account, and you didn't get the ka-ching. Did you do it? Did you do it this morning again? Did you do it? Let me see if I got another. Not this morning. You bought me one the other day, but let me go to Buy Me a Coffee and see what happens. No, so far in the Buy Me a Coffee app, I only see Randy Weichel. But thank you so much, Matt. I really appreciate that. Very nice of you. Very nice of you. Where was I, Ellen? Was I in the middle of something, or was I just about to go on to something new?
Finishing up about your video that's going to be
my video this afternoon. Yes. So I hope that you find it entertaining, and for me, I'm really curious with all the hoorah that's made over grass finished, grass fed, grain finished. The consensus is that most cows are raised eating grass anyway. It's just the last month or two, the finishing of it, where they start feeding them the grains. So, and then I say to myself, well, what about these cows that are raised in basically factory farming from the beginning? Aren't they fed grain from day one? I don't know. I don't know. If you try to research it, everybody's got a different story. And every manufacturer makes different claims, and you have no way of knowing whether it's true or not. That's the problem. There's enough information out there, that's for sure. How much of it is true? You got to become a private detective to figure that out. So look out for that video this afternoon. Do I have any more questions, Ellen?
Yes, you do. And now I've really messed up, and I apologize to the chat because Free Texanet asked a question way early, and I've lost it because I can't go back far enough. And I usually jot them down.
Free Texanet.
I don't know if you can get it.
I might be able to find it here. Did it have a QQQ in front of it?
It had a QQQ. It was a fairly long one. And usually, I apologize, Free Texanet. I'm slacking off.
Well, I might be able to.
Going so fast. I usually jot them down.
I might be able to find it here, but you know, with the
yeah. Otherwise,
well, okay. Go ahead on to the next one, and
we will find it and get to it. So
if I can, I will find it. If I can't find it, just put it in again, and Ellen will be looking for it.
Yes.
I'm just looking. You say it was a fairly long one because I'm looking for big chats.
Yes. Okay. So look for that chat. Yeah. It didn't.
Well, was it put in before the stream started or after the stream started?
No, not before. Early on.
It was early on before the stream?
Not before the stream. The stream was started, but it was
So I need to start looking from what it says here, 10 a.m. Here it is. Okay, so there's the first chat entry at 10 a.m. And I will look while you ask me the next question because I can multitask, I think.
So then there is another question from Meathead, who wants to know if you have a Gordon Foods near you.
If I have a Gordon's Food, I do. I have a Gordon's Food. I've been there many times, but so far I haven't bought meat from them. Gordon's is open to the public, but it's more like a restaurant supply place.
Oh, okay.
I mean, they have meat, but the brunt of the store is restaurant paraphernalia. If you want food storage stuff, go to Gordon's. If you want some restaurant style commercial cookware, pots and pans and things, that's a great place. If you own a restaurant, it's a great place to go. And most of the meat that they sell, the volume of meat, the biggest volume that they sell is the primal cuts. And so you'd go to Gordon's not to buy a chuck roast, you'd go to buy an entire roll, an entire chuck roll. A huge thing where you carve it up yourself, you butcher. You wouldn't go to buy ribeyes, you'd buy an entire loin. They sell to restaurants, and that's how restaurants buy meat. And now, for some strange reason, it did go ka-ching. It did go ka-ching. Wendy Smith, thank you, Wendy Smith. And her message is, the box tells me to say something nice, but that isn't amusing enough. And then she says, I'm cooking bacon. A better thing I can't think of that you could be doing this morning than cooking bacon. I'm telling you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Wendy. I will, of course, reply to that. But I wanted to acknowledge it. Maybe I have to have the app open on my phone in order for... No, that doesn't make sense. It always goes ka-ching when I'm not looking at it. But when I opened the app and it was sitting there open, and it did. So who knows?
Okay. Anyway, Mitch.
Yes.
Free Texanet jogged my memory with her question, so I've got it.
Okay. All right, good. Tell me.
She, thank you, Free Texanet. And she wants to know if you eat in a particular time window. She eats at 7 a.m. and around 7 p.m. due to her life schedule.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Uh, if that's what you have to do, then you're 12. You're basically 12 hours. You have a 12-hour eating window, and that's, I mean, it's great. It works, but optimally, in my opinion, I do understand what they call intermittent fasting or time restricted feeding. Uh, the benefits of which are the longer you manage to fast each day, especially if you manage to fast over 12 hours, the more chance your body has to go into autophagy and start healing and repairing itself, which is the main benefit of doing long fasts. Gives your body a chance to reuse the dead cell materials, start building new things, rejuvenate everything. We're supposed to work that way. We're not supposed to eat all day. We're supposed to basically, like the cavemen, probably just eat one meal every day or every couple of days. And the rest of the time we are in let's rebuild ourself mode. We've gotten so far away from that, especially with the dependence on sugar as a prime energy source, that nobody ever fixes anything. And that's another reason that kind of accelerates the damage from all the poisons we eat. And that's why we're getting sicker and sicker, younger and younger, because we can't stop eating this sugar because of our addictions. We are basically hacking nature itself by feeding it enormous quantities of sugar. We're feeding the addictions, and we're poisoning ourselves when we're taking 20 years, 30 years off our lives on average. And you can see it if you look at a chart of the life stream of the life span of the average human male in this country. It's down to 86 years old now. It used to be 89, 90. In some countries it's 92, 93. Not here. Every year it seems to go down a notch. Makes me over the hill at 77. I should have died at 76. 50% or more of the people who were 76 last year died. That's the average lifespan. It's sad. They're blaming it on genetics. They're blaming it on all kinds of environmental toxins. And it's not that. It's the food we eat, period. All this other stuff might cause a little damage, but the main culprit are the poisons we put in our mouth every 2 hours because we're sugar addicts. Nobody wants to hear that yet. Hopefully that message will get out. Even in all the messaging that's happening today on a national stage with RFK Jr. and the rest of them, they're still not talking about that. They're talking about insecticides and ultra-processed foods. Yes, they're both a problem, but they are not the problem. The problem is 24/7 consumption of excessive amounts of sugars, seed oils, and plants. That's the problem. You fix that problem, all the other problems become inconsequential, and the average lifespan will find its way back up to 100 years and beyond. That's what we're supposed to do. So I'm answering a question, and I got off on that. What question am I answering here?
About the eating window.
The window, yes. Thank
Window,
you.
eating
Thank
window.
you. And that's what happens to me when I go off. My brain switches gears and throws the old subject out and starts trying to concentrate on how do I get this new point across.
I've got
The
the
shorter your eat. Well, most of us are like that. Most of us. That's called getting distracted. You know, I mean, it's kind of normal. That's why you're here, Ellen. That's why you're here, because your brain doesn't do what my brain's doing while I'm trying to figure out how to make a point. The shorter the eating window, the better. Of course, the shortest eating window that you can have is called OMAD, 1 meal a day. Basically, you're eating for an hour and you're fasting for 23. That's great. I tried that. I don't like it. I can't eat enough food. I have to eat more food than I can actually put in one meal. And most of us can. If we try to do OMAD, what happens, most of us tend to undereat, which is one of the worst things you can do. Much better on carnivore to eat too much, because it's when to stop, and you know when to stop, than to eat too little, still be hungry. And I have something just happened on my bandwidth for some reason, and let me see, it dropped down and just now it's coming back. So just for an instant, that's not me. That is not me. Okay, I'm back. Should be synchronized and crystal clear and as beautiful as I usually am right now. My eating window is about 18, 19 hours a day. I eat 2 meals a day. I eat my first meal around 11 or 12 in the morning because I'm just not, I mean, I start to get a little hungry. I'm not hungry. I never get hungry. I can't remember the last time I was as hungry. You know, I'm starving to death hungry since I gave up all that stuff well over 2 years ago. But I start saying, you know, bacon and eggs sounds like it could be good. Or today, you know, probably about noon, I'll eat those 2 steaks that I bought, and then about 3:30, 4 o'clock, 4 hours later, basically, I will eat my second meal. And most days, except maybe if I have like Saturday when I have my live stream at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, that's my eating window right around then. But I have to put my second meal of the day off a couple hours. My eating window that day maybe 18 hours, 17 hours instead of 19 to 20 hours. But that's what I do. And it seems to be working great for me. It seems to be working great. And and there's no shortage of videos out there that will tell you why you should be doing that. So I hope that answers that question for you, and I'm glad we found it. I haven't come across it yet. I was still looking for it in the chat. There's
Yes,
just
CB corrected me in that it was asked actually before the chat started. So
Oh, okay. Well, that's why I
it's kind
can't.
of a blur to me. So
Yeah, I know it is
usually
a blur. And
yeah,
imagine, I've got 130 people here now. Imagine what this chat would be like if this was Ken Berry's Monday live stream with 3 to 4,000 people in the chat.
yeah.
No chance. Even
there
if you put even if you put your question on a super chat, the odds are he still won't have time to get to it. But
But not
it's just
here.
the way it is. It is the way, you know. So this is still a manageable crowd, even though it is cumbersome because you guys, quite frankly, just love to talk, and that's why we're here. That's why we're here.
We're here. It's a coffee clutch. You know, we're supposed to be gossiping.
And it's cold coffee too. And it's cold coffee. And holy mackerel, Ellen, where does the time go?
I don't know. We've got one more question. You want to?
Yeah, go ahead. Oh, absolutely. I mean, I would love to be able. I don't care if I have to go overtime.
Okay. Meathead.
Meathead.
Meathead again has asked, have you eaten bison next to filet mignon? So I don't know. Apparently he means together, or I don't know.
Oh, here I did find Free Text, and that's second attempt at the question, eating in a time window. So that popped up. See, the QQQs do attract my attention. Mm-hmm. So I saw that just quickly scrolling, trying to get to the bottom of the chat so I can start saying goodbye to people here in a few minutes. I have only eaten bison one time. And it was ground beef that I bought at Sam's Club in one of those little vacuum sealed because I was doing a hamburger ground beef comparison video. And I had the Wagyu and I had the regular and I bought the bison and I cooked them all up and ate them all side by side. I didn't like the bison best. I liked the Wagyu best because it was the fattiest. And I think they were all close enough, however, that any one of them would do. But no, I've never eaten a bison steak per se, especially not comparing it bite by bite with a filet mignon. I would imagine that bison is going to be leaner. Well, filet is a lean cut of beef, and I try to stay away from lean cuts of anything. Lean, chicken. If I eat chicken, it's usually something with the skin on or dark meat because that's the fattiest part of the chicken. I try to eat fattier fishes, and when I eat a less fatty fish like cod, I'll fry it up in bacon grease coated with pork rinds, and that adds some fat to it. I try not to eat lean food. I don't eat pork loin anymore. I used to love pork loin, but it's not fatty. It's the leanest. The loin of any animal is going to be the leanest piece of meat. the least fat. I eat ribs now when I want to eat pork. Baby back ribs that have so much fat when you bite into them that you have to have 12 paper towels handy to keep wiping it out of your beard. That to me is what satisfies me and adds the flavor. It's the fat that makes these things taste so good. And you want that fat evenly dispersed between the meat. So you're not just, some people like to eat just plain fat. I don't particularly, but if you give me a fatty cut of meat, especially bacon, nothing tastes better than bacon fat, fried up good. Or pork belly. It tastes so good for a reason. Our taste is our subconscious mind's way of saying, yeah, eat that, eat that. It encourages us to eat more of it for a reason. There's a reason for everything that happens in our physiology. And taste is our first defense against poisoning ourselves. Which is why you put certain things in your mouth and you almost, as a gag reflex, immediately spit it out. It's the taste buds that are telling you, don't do it. This stuff is no bueno. So that's the answer, I think. What do you think, Ellen? Did I answer it?
I think you did answer it.
Okay, and that was the last question.
Your opinion. That was the last question.
Okay, let me see. I'm still trying to find the bottom of this chat. Holy cow. I think I found it. And it is Meathead. Sherry Morgan. Sherry, how you doing?
Sherry made it. So
hey, good to see you. You made it just in time to say goodbye, but at least you made it. I know this is hard. These morning things are hard for those of you on the West Coast. But boy,
she's been here for a little while.
Oh, has she? Okay, because I haven't even been looking.
It's so busy
in the latter part of the chat. But it's good that I'm busy. Yes, James is here. How you doing,
right.
James? Good to see you. See Meathead. Oh, there's Sherry again. Good. Okay. DS111. Haven't said hi to you. Glad you made it, man. And Aunt B. How you doing, B? Good to see you. So we're pretty much on the way out, and no live streams tonight. A video this afternoon about what I think of the new Sam's Club grass finished ribeyes. Look for that around 3 o'clock. So with that, Ellen, thank everybody. There's still 120 people here. That's what makes me happy. That's what makes me happy. To finish stronger means that people are enjoying themselves. People are enjoying themselves. There's an old show business adage that says, always leave them wanting more. It's really true. So that's the indication. Makes me feel good, makes me happy, warms my heart. So let me, where's the music? There it is. I always hit it when it's just starting.
Good night.
Let me do that. Something that I completely ignored through this whole thing. As you can see, it has no ash on it. I mean, I just completely ignored it. So I will fire this thing up while you say goodbye to each other in the chat. Listen to the music, dance a little bit, get ready to have a great day. And my friends, I think this music makes us depart on a happy note. Always a good thing to do. Appreciate you all coming. Appreciate you all being here. I'll see you tomorrow morning. Right back here. 8:30 a.m. for Morning Coffee with Mitch and Ellen. And until then. Oh, I didn't bring Ellen in to say goodbye.
That's okay.
All right. Everybody say goodbye to Ellen, and I will give you all the rest of the day off and insist that you eat meat.